Not far from here, the king met the queen. Who will be the king of the short track this weekend? Getting ready to run for the Busch Pole. 10 Busch races this year, 9 different pole position winners. Kyle Busch is the only one who has 2. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Jeff Hammond with you once again. Weather has been a factor already this weekend. Rain yesterday, but everybody unloaded, got their practice in. Impound race, so we'll qualify, park them, and they'll race later tonight. So everything's compressed into a very small, short box for everybody to work in. Now we're set to go for the pole.
But you know what? It's short track racing, and that's what you do at a short track race. You go in there, you practice, you qualify, and you race all in the same day. And yeah, the weather has been a little iffy here, but the good thing about this weather format today is the fact it's been pretty consistent. It was consistent throughout the 2 practice sessions these guys had, and I don't think you'll have a disadvantage or advantage going late in this session because it's awfully cool and overcast right now, where if it was hot and sunny, trust me, I would want to go near the end of this session as far as qualifying.
We had a 45-car entry. 1 car is already withdrawn, so it means that only 1 car will go home from this qualifying session. We have some new teams. We have some first-time drivers. What other issues today?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is, Mike, and we've already touched on a little bit, is there are only 4 hours between now and race time. So you got to be smart enough to get up on that wheel when you need to, but realize that if you make a mistake, get into the wall, especially off of turn 2. It's been real dicey off that turn all day long for both the Busch Series as well as for the Cups guys. You're going to have to be careful because if you get in trouble, you won't have time to unload a backup and be ready to race. So you don't want to put yourself out of this field by being too aggressive. But the guy that's on the bubble, they've got to kind of lay it on the line. It's still going to be there for those guys who want to race here tonight. But when you take a look at the overall field, we got like 20 Nextel Cup drivers coming over here trying to get a little bit of extra seat time. And I really wonder if it's going to benefit them that much. But the key thing is they're here. They're going to make things exciting. And I look for Kevin Harvick, along with Jeff Burton, his teammate, to be, you know, some forces to reckon with early on.
All right, let's check downstairs with Chris Devoda.
Well, you know how some people are better at directions than others. If you're looking for directions to victory lane in the Busch Series at this track, the only person you need to ask is Kevin Harvick, because you have won the last 3 Busch races here. Kevin, can you make it 4 in a row?
Our Dollar General Chevrolet is pretty good in practice. I don't know how qualifying is going to go. That hasn't been our strong point, but car's really good in race trim and should be a lot of fun tonight.
And he's not in an RCR car. It's his own car. Kevin Harvick Incorporated, of course, they won last week in Talladega. To the editor of Speedway Illustrated, Dr. Dick Berggren.
Yeah, but if Harvick is going to win here, he is going to have to beat Carl Edwards, who this year has had an incredible season. Worst finish last week at Talladega, a 10th, over 400 points ahead of the second-place guy, and this week named one of America's most eligible bachelors. So which means more to you, leading the points or being one of the most eligible bachelors?
What do you think, Dick?
I think leading the points. I don't think you care at all about the other stuff.
For sure, man. I'm just so happy to be driving for these guys. I mean, we had to have a meeting this week because everybody's so down and out about our 10th place finish at Talladega. And so that's how great our year's going, and it's so awesome to be part of a season like this so far. And hopefully it just keeps up. I mean, it's just so much fun to come to the track every week and have a chance to win.
It's neat. Everything is going his way, Mike Joy.
Yeah, Dick, we used to put a whole lot of stock in that other stuff until we realized that really what he's been named is one of the 50 young men in America most likely to sell lots of magazines.
But, you know, just listening to what Carl said, I talked to his crew chief, Pierre Cattell, yesterday, and we talked about that 10th place finish at Talladega. And Pierre told me, he said, you know, I never thought I would be so bummed out. But he said, we wasn't bummed out because we finished 10th. It's because we had a car that if we'd have gotten the right line at the right time at the right place, we actually could have won that race.
Right. He and a dozen other people?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 2 dozen.
You know, say, come on now. It's like, you know, looking, trying to figure out where the P is underneath the shell. You know what I mean, Mike?
Lots of NASCAR across the Fox networks this weekend because Nextel Cup Series qualifying for the Bud Pole follows us at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow, NASCAR race day at 5 Eastern, and you'll see the Nextel Cup race, the Jim Stewart 400 on Fox tomorrow night under the lights from Richmond. But first, we've got a couple of divisions to qualify, and the Busch cars will take to the track next. Welcome back to Richmond, where David Reutimann and the Aaron's number 99 will be our first qualifier. David was 12th in practice. He is one of 4 Toyotas we'll see in this qualifying session.
And he's one of 2 Toyotas that's up in the top 4, top 5 in Busch Series points right now. David comes in here 4th in the Busch Series points.
Made his first Busch Series start here in this race in 2002. 4 straight top 5 finishes after Talladega.
Whoa.
That'll be a pretty common sight. Trust me. You talked about that, Jeff.
Turn two. You try to get after it right in the middle of turn 2 to get off down that back straightaway, and if it's not hooked up exactly right, she's going to get a little dancy off that turn.
2160, 125 miles an hour.
Well, one reason I think we'll see that with a lot of these Busch cars is, as you mentioned, Mike, it's an impound race. You know, these guys, whether you're go or go home or you're locked in, you're qualifying with your race setup. The characteristic of this racetrack and race trim, it gets tighter and tighter. The front wheels slide more and more, so these guys have to be pretty free on this qualifying lap to be right for tonight.
And he picks up almost 2/10 on that second lap because of that.
And I think that'll be pretty common, too. We saw that actually in Nextel Cup practice. Looks like the fast lap comes on lap 2, a lot due to heating the tires.
Watch him right here coming up off of turn 2. The back end will just whoop, close.
Close doesn't count. Close doesn't count, Jeff.
Horseshoes and hand grenades,
That's
only 2
right.
things.
Regan Smith for Ginn Racing, Ginn Resorts. 11th in the points, has scored 3 top 10 finishes this season, and Smith was 14th in practice.
Sitting up there 11th in the Busch Series points. Had a great run a few weeks ago up at Nashville. Finished up in the top 5 in his 4 car. It's had some pretty rotten luck a lot of his races.
Pretty impressive at Talladega last week, subbing for Mark Martin, or Mark Martin subbing for him, however you want to sum it up. But he had a pretty impressive run at Talladega.
See how much brake you use getting to these corners. Only 14 degrees of banking, and you really drive it off in the corner and just stand on the brake pedal.
You saw on the tracker he was faster than David Rudiman getting to turn 3, but then eclipsed Rudiman by 3/1000ths of a second. Regan Smith quickest, David Rudiman second. This is DJ Kennington, 29 years old, from St. Thomas, Ontario. He's looking to make his 3rd career Busch Series start. He's been racing for the last dozen years in CASCAR, the Canadian Stock Car Series.
And he did not have a real fast time really in either practice session, so he'll try to pick it up a little bit from what he did practice. As you mentioned, there will be one car that will not make the show.
The slowest go or go homers in practice were Kevin LePage, Eric McClure, Brett Rowe, and Kennington.
Sounds like it's going to be wound up being between those 4. First lap, not very good.
22:13.
That's about 3/10 off from what Regan Smith, David Rudiman ran actually on their first lap. Talked to DJ out at Phoenix a few weeks ago, and you know, certainly trying to secure sponsorship to run more races. He picks it up to 21.92. I'd be a little nervous about that right now.
Very nervous. But Mike, I got to believe that we're going to see a lot more guys coming out of CASCAR coming south to get some more experience, especially whenever the Busch Series goes north later on this summer.
Clint Boyer carrying the BB&T colors on his Childress Chevy this week. He started in the top 6 4 times this year and scored his 4th series victory at Phoenix.
He has 4 Busch Series starts here, always pretty good qualifying. All 4 of those races are top 10 starts. Finished 13th at Talladega last week, Jeff, but he did it without his crew chief, Dan Deringhoff. Dan was down in the Bahamas getting married last Saturday while Clint was racing at Talladega.
Talladega or getting married? Talladega or getting married?
I'm thinking Talladega or the Bahamas. Talladega or the Bahamas.
One goes with the other.
First lap 21.73. That's right in the area that Regan Smith, David Rudiman ran on lap 1. But right now it looks like Clint possibly on a pole run here. Definitely going to believe he'll be in good shape at a 21.41. Another car in the 21.40s, but he's on the right side of the 40s right now.
Clint Boyer is quickest. Coming up, Brad Keselowski, Bobby Santos, Kevin Harvick. Speed's presentation of Busch Series qualifying from Richmond is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. This is Budweiser, this is beer. And by Bayer Advanced. In the blue bottles, better science, better results. Brad Keselowski is up next. Started 12th at Bristol, his best start of the season, but has failed to finish 3 of his most recent 4 starts.
Jeff, we talked about heating the tires. It looks like Brad knows that this is going to kind of be a throwaway lap. He was swerving back and forth on lap 1, trying to get heat in those tires.
Yeah, I was watching him going down in turn 1. I said, what is he doing? And all of a sudden it dawned on me. He's just trying to get a little extra heat in those tires to make them grip. That's the key right now, is getting grip in those tires so you can run a little quicker.
He was 10th in practice times of the go-or-go-homers in the larger-than-life Chevrolet. Well, 21.78.
The good news is that beats DJ Kennington, so that will lock him into the show.
That's right. Only one driver goes home.
That's it.
So
that was the one he was looking for.
So here comes little Frito, Bobby Santos III, whose grandfather, Bob Santos, was a great modified driver, known Dick Berggren as the Frito Bandito.
Yeah, he was, and I want to tell you about this kid Santos, Mike, because I think he's going to be really, really big in NASCAR. Last summer, as an example of what this kid comes from, last summer he raced in a midget event. Started about mid-pack, won the race. His sister was in the same event. She crashed when the motor blew. They had a deal at the Speedway that if you won the midget race and were willing to start dead last in the big car race and won the big car race, you got a $50,000 bonus. Santos won the midget race, agreed to start dead last, went through the field and won the big car race. In Victory Lane, they asked him, what are you going to do with your $50,000? And Santos said, my little sister crashed her car. She needs a motor. I'm going to give it all to her. This kid last year won in the midgets. He won in the super modifieds. He won in the big cars. This year he's running a modified, a midget, and ARCA cars, as well as the Busch Series. You're going to hear a lot about Bobby Santos III.
You're going to hear something right now about him, Dick. He just goes to the top of the charts with a 21.40. He ran the fastest first lap that anybody's run and backed it up on lap 2.
And looked very smooth doing it. That Toyota right there, I mean, it's one of the first times we've seen him this year in that car.
Great job, buddy.
That's exactly right. Great job.
I think that was Eddie DeHaan. This is the Riley DeHaan Enterprise. So good for Santos. Kevin Harvick, 12 starts here. As Krista pointed out, 4 victories and 9 top 10s. Currently second in the point standings despite starting only 8 races. And 7 out of 8 of those have been top 10 finishes.
But I could tell, listening to Kevin this week and reading several of his quotes, he's never won in his own race car. You know, his race cars, they've won races, but I think he'd really like to go to Victory Lane and get that 4th consecutive win here tonight in his own race car.
I know he would. I know exactly that's what he's thinking. Another reason why he's in that car is that, you know, what better way to pay off your sponsor? Come up here and win 4 in a row.
Well, timeout, fellas, as Harvick 21.70 his first lap. Isn't this Delana Harvick's race car?
Oh, I stand corrected. You're right.
It's Kevin's wife is the owner. So
good point.
Of course, if he wins in it, maybe she won't have to write that big check to the driver since it's all in the family, you know?
Oh, okay. I hear you.
Well, it'd be big for both the Harvicks.
Exactly.
If Kevin could win. He's 3rd quickest at a 21.47.
This is going to be another.
Driving in too far, both corners.
Little overdriving. But this is going to be another tight qualifying session. Right now, we've had 7 cars that have qualified. The top 5 are all in the 21.40s.
J.J. Yeley is next, looking for his first top 10 finish of the season and for his first start in the top 10 as well.
Now, what we heard Kevin Harvick talk about as J.J. Yeley starts his qualifying run, it's one of the culprits of Richmond. You get lured into driving it down in the corner and the thing won't turn. That's the challenge that J.J. Yeley, Kevin Harvick, and those other 18 Cup drivers that in just a little bit will have to step out of these cars and qualify that car tomorrow, that you cannot drive too deep in the corner.
21.94 on the first lap for Yeley.
He runs up the racetrack a little bit more down there in turn 1 and 2, Larry. It's just not quite hooking up like he needs to. I've been kind of surprised. I thought that JJ would do pretty well in this James Finch #1.
I was a little concerned when I talked to this group yesterday as he completes lap 2, and you'll understand what I'm going to say here. They brought a low snout car here. It's all about the front end geometry, and I'm just not sure about that because a low snout, which just, again, there's things about the geometry on the front end. If you're on the mark, you're on the mark, but if you miss it a little bit, boy, it is a tough road.
Yeah, it'll be a nightmare right now if they don't get this car hooked up, and it don't look very good right now.
Yep, Yaley is 6th with a 21.76. Ward Burton comes on the speedway. Dick?
With Sam Hornish Jr., who has some IndyCar races here. He's won a pole. He's also won twice, but this is a whole different breed of cat. How difficult is it to figure these cars out?
Well, it's quite a bit different. I'm really happy that I'm getting the opportunity to come out here in the Mobil 1 Dodge today, and looking forward to the race. The cars are totally different. They slide around quite a bit. A lot more braking here than what we do in the IndyCar, but really a fun track to be able to go out there and run on. Really one of the first tracks that I've got to do both cars in the same year. So it is kind of cool to see the differences, and hopefully we'll make the race. And the big goal for today is just to finish all the laps and get some more practice.
Indeed, and he's going to scoot right out of here and head to Indianapolis. We talk about the transition from the car tomorrow to a Busch car. How about transitioning to an Indy car?
Speaking of Indy cars, Dick, you realize if he could come out and pull one off tonight and win this race, he'd be the only driver in history to win both an IndyCar race here and a Busch Series race.
Ward Burton is on track, finishing up at a 21.57, so that'll put the Scott's Towels Ford 6th fastest. All right, race day fans, send us a photo of you with your favorite driver for a chance to see yourself on race day. They'll select one photo each week and put that photo on the air. It's all part of My Race Day. So upload your photos to speedtv.com, keyword My Race Day. The 52 is a go or go home car. Kevin Page has been struggling in practice in Jimmy Means Ford, trying to make his 16th Richmond Busch race.
Yeah, way off on lap 1, 22.76. Right now, he's looking at having to pick up over 3/4 of a second. DJ Kennington at a 21.92 right now on the bubble.
Car didn't look very fast down the back straightaway, and Kevin tried to make up a little bit going into turn 3 and 4, drove it in a little bit hard, went up the racetrack. He picked up some, but it's not enough to get him in the race.
Nope, 22.41. That will lock DJ Kennington into the field and put LePage on the bubble. Krista?
Well, Dick Berggren told you the story of Bobby Santos. We knew Dick Berggren was a fan. We didn't know he was a prognosticator. You are sitting right now, my friend, on the pole for your first Busch start. Has that sunk in?
No. I mean, it feels good, but I know there's a lot of good cars left, and sitting on the pole doesn't mean much anyway. We got to run good in the race, and that's what I've always been about, running good in the race. So hopefully we can do that tonight.
Spoken like a true racer. Now the wait begins.
Well, Krista, there are folks back in New England who might tell you that at one point in their careers, and maybe even today, his younger sister Erica, given equal equipment, could well be the better driver of the two.
Come on, Mike. Are you kidding me?
No. Bergie, what about it?
I'm with you, Mike. Erica, I mean, the family had enough money really to sort of subsidize one of their two kids, and they decided that little Bobby had the better chance of making it to the big league. And Erica is an incredibly good driver. You ought to see her in a midget. I mean, she is absolutely fearless, talented. She's a wonderful, wonderful race car driver to watch.
Yeah, I've seen her race, Dick, and whoever's in charge of driver development listening out there, well, there's a name for you. Here's a name. Brad Coleman, coming off a pole run. He's 21.80 and 21.64 on his second lap, so that 64 will be good for 7th quickest in the Carinos Chevrolet.
The only thing I will challenge Bobby Santos as we watch David Reagan start his qualifying run. Qualifying at this racetrack is pretty important. It can get hard to pass, especially late in the race. And the biggest thing, we talked about this during Nextel Cup practice, sit on the pole, you get that premium pit selection, that last pit box leaving pit road.
David Reagan's making his first Richmond Busch Series start. He did run the trucks here in September '04, coming off a 4th place finish at Talladega.
Yeah, sitting 7th in the Busch Series points. He leads the Robestos Rookie of the Year points battle right now. First lap, 21.99 for David.
Well, he was 3rd fastest in practice.
Hang on to her.
Did it.
like he's flirting up there maybe in that 21.50, maybe mid-high 50s right now. But now he's getting on down there in the 40s now as he's going to complete it. Yeah, 21.48. Right now that will put him, that'll put him about 4th quickest.
Yeah, sorry, we're a little slow to update from the computer feed coming forward, which is still working on Reagan's 2nd lap. There he is, 4th quickest. Pops up. Carl Edwards, the runaway point leader. His point lead growing faster than the grass.
You got that right, Mike. Everybody's looking and say, which way did he go? Which way did he go?
And now you take a look at that list and you'll see why they were disappointed with the 10th place finish last
Blew
week.
their average, just slam out of the water, didn't it?
Yeah, 433-point lead right now over Kevin Harvick.
You know what? We need to talk to that crew chief. I mean, anytime you can run a race at Talladega and put it back on the truck, 4 wheels are rolling, whether you're 10th, 1st, or 21st, it's an accomplishment.
You better believe it. If you can finish 10th and you're the points leader, that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, boy.
His first lap, 21.49, which is an awfully good first lap. He looks like he's on track here, maybe to knock Santos off the pole.
No.
He does not. He picks up just only 4 100ths. That's something that we've not seen, but I think it maybe came turn 2 trying to get a little bit more.
A little too much right there. He couldn't get a blade of grass.
A little wiggle off of 2 there.
Little wiggle my foot. He needs to be looking at it from up here.
He didn't miss the wall by a foot, did he? Inches. And his first lap was by far the fastest first lap of anybody.
Absolutely. You can see he's got his hands full. You see that steering wheel going back to the right.
Little orange marker right there,
Yeah.
just back and forth, back and forth.
In fact, Carl's first lap would have qualified him 6th.
Yeah.
Out of the 13 cars that have gone right now.
That was definitely a bullet that Bobby Santos dodged right there.
Derek Cope has that same wiggle coming off the corner. Made his last Busch Series start at Dover last September. He's run here 5 times in a Busch car with the best starting spot of 5th in the Checkers drive-through restaurants.
He was pretty good in practice in the final practice. He was like 28, so got a good chance right here qualifying for this race right here on his first lap. He's in.
He's in. Yeah, his first lap got him in.
I believe that I don't believe he was a go or go homer. Derek Cope, I think he's in the show.
Okay, he was already locked in. Okay, right. Good deal. Pretty decent second lap, 21.86.
And Larry, you already pointed out the way things are going so far in the early part of qualifying. It's going to be a very tight Busch field for tonight's race.
So the Spanaway Washington native is 12th right now. Here is Hornish. Now he is a go or go home car, and the bubble time right now 22:41. Kevin LePage, as Sam Hornish looks to make his 5th race of 2007.
You know, all the Busch cars were here a couple of weeks ago, did a test session. Sam had a rough 2 days. Actually hit the wall with both of his race cars. They actually repaired one, and they told me yesterday by the end of the 2nd day he was starting to get a little bit of rhythm at this place. But you've got to believe what a difference. Probably the biggest thing, about 8-9 seconds a lap difference from an IRL car here to a Busch car.
Maybe more than that. I don't know, but I know it's definitely a ton faster in that IRL car. But he is in.
21.93. And the first lap, he really sent it into 1, and just as he did in turn 3, you saw the tracker move to the left and lost a little bit coming off the corner, but a 21.75, so Hornish is 10th.
You drive it in too deep, it just kills the exit of the corner.
Coming up, Tony Raines. Bobby Santos III, trying to make his first career Busch Series start, is also trying to win his first career series pole. His Toyota's faster than Clint Bowyer, Carl Edwards, and the rest of the 15 that have qualified so far. Danji Hannaford, 56 car is Hannaford. He's from Darlington, South Carolina, 26 years old. was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year honors in the Hooters Pro Cup Series in 2006 behind Derek Cale.
He's going to race later on tonight because his first lap will lock him in at a 22:09. He was actually pretty decent in practice last night. He ran in the 21:80s and 90s.
Smooth, workmanlike lap.
Car looked awfully good.
Yep.
21:81. That's a good solid lap.
13th. The goal is to get in the show. Mission accomplished.
Absolutely. I mean, he's only 4/10 off the pole.
Talk about a driver being able to do a sigh of relief. Crew chief says you're in. Hey, doesn't get much better than that.
Dick Berggren.
With Jeff Burton, and what a record he's got at this place. Very fast, certainly, in the testing that was done here with the Busch cars, but two Busch wins, a Cup win, 3 poles. My goodness gracious, what a great record. What have you got for us tonight? Can you knock this young kid off the pole?
I hope we can. I don't know if we can or not. The Holiday Inn Chevrolet is really good in practice. We weren't as good in our Q run as we thought we needed to be. We made some changes here, but feel really good about it in race run. Car is really good. It's a little free, but that's okay. That's how we like it, and we'll see how that works for us.
Okay, so we got the veteran versus the rookie. Let's see how it goes.
All right. Greg Biffle is on track. DNF to Talladega, finished 30th. Started 6th at Bristol, his best start of the year. 12th on his first lap.
Tell you what, this second lap, if he can get off turn 4, is looking awfully good for this 16 car. 21.400. He beats Bobby Santos by 0.005 of a second.
Well, I kind of hate that he broke the glass slipper, you know, but midnight's got to come sooner or later.
Sooner or later.
That's okay, Bobby. Outside pole is not a bad place to start. Good run for Biff.
Been pretty impressive if we'd had 2 rookies sitting on the last 2 poles. I think that you had Brad Coleman at Talladega, and Santos could have held on.
That's true. Reed Sorensen in the Juicy Fruit Gum Dodge. And he's still looking for his first top 15 this season. 7 starts, 4 DNFs. Started 3rd at Las Vegas. Here at Richmond, he has 1 top 5, and that came here last fall.
But in those 4 starts he has here in the Busch Series, he has started 9th 3 of those 4 times in qualifying.
He was top 10 in practice.
21.75 on lap 1. Seeing a lot of cars pick up a couple of tenths here. I believe he's going to be in the 40s.
Nice pickup.
21.42.
4th quickest. Not sure if Tony Raines was excused or if he's on the 5-minute clock. We'll double check that as Jamie Mack comes out. Jamie McMurray, the Cup Cadet Ford. He's looking for his first top 10 finish of the season. 14th at Atlanta, and we're told that Tony Raines will go next.
Car looked good and solid coming off turn 2.
Didn't pick up the speed quite like I thought he would down the back straightaway, but let's see what happens here. This is only his first lap.
Now he will race tonight. He's locked into the show.
22.02 on lap 1.
And that's the reason why it looks so smooth. Not that that's slow, but gotta get down in those 21s if you want to contend for the pole.
And I know it looks goofy what our tracker's doing right there, but remember, we've got about 10 or 11 cars within about less than a tenth of each other. That's the reason it's jumping around so much.
And McMurray with a 63 for now will be 11th. Krista?
Well, for now, Greg Biffle puts the 3M Ford on the pole. And Greg, it's been kind of an interesting year. I mean, you had the top 5 in California coming off a 6th at Phoenix. It's hard to really put your finger on this year. Is this the place to turn it around?
Yeah, it is. I hope so. I'll tell you what, we've had some great race cars. Eddie and all the guys at the shop are doing a great job. And, you know, 3M have just been behind us the whole way. And we'd like to get a win, you know. We want to win in 2007, a couple of them preferably. But, I don't know, maybe tonight. I like Richmond, and it's a good place to race, and the car's pretty fast, so.
All right, he's always said he likes this track, guys.
Thanks, Krista. Tony Raines now in the RVs.com. Number 33.
Another Delana Harvick entry.
Yeah. Raines was 18th in practice.
What a great finish for that group down at Talladega last week. Got that 1-2 punch with Bobby Labonte winning the race and Tony Stewart driving for this 33 team, finished in second.
So what do they do with both those drivers? Take them out of the cars.
You're off for the week.
Switch.
Well, now Tony will be busy tonight because he has been invited by NASCAR to watch the race from their officials booth and observe on the decision-making process, see what inputs they have available to them. Again, they invited him, not required him to go. He accepted the invitation and will get a new perspective on things.
Oh, by the way, another car in the 2140s. Tony Raines just ran a 2142. He's fourth quickest.
Speed's presentation of Busch Series qualifying from Richmond is brought to you by Just for Men. Stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. John Wood in the Clorox Ford is next. His best finish this season, 10th at Mexico City, but he was not very quick in practice today, 37th.
I think this is just one of those teams that, with the luck they've had, they just want to qualify solid and run all night long without having a problem. They have really had their share of problems.
Usually if there's an accident or a caution that comes out, you start looking. It seems like John Wood seems like he's always around it this year for some reason.
A lot not of his making.
No, just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, it seems to find him instead of vice versa.
Second lap, 21.86 right now. That puts John 18th quickest out of the 21 cars that has qualified.
And that pretty much backs up practice. Mike Bliss in the Supercuts Dodge, 14th last week at Talladega, so that's 4 top 15s in a row for Bliss. His best qualifying effort, 3rd at Nashville. Bliss was 9th in practice.
You know, I think this team, Armando Fitz Racing, I think this is a prime example. I know we talk about multi-car teams, but sometimes maybe putting all your eggs in one basket pays off. I think last year trying to run 2 cars, sometimes 3 cars, I think spreading herself way too thin. I think now the performance is starting to pay off by just focusing on this one car.
Well, they're 9th in points in the owner's side of it. Even though Mike Bliss is 36th in the driver's side, but you know, they've had several different drivers in this car this year, but every time it goes out, it seems like it's got an opportunity to qualify in the top 10, and it's been racing in the top 10 a lot.
15th on the first lap.
He's
and
going to
better.
pick up a lot. Yeah, he picks up a couple of 10s.
Yeah, 2 tenths. Picks up to 11. Speed Fantasy Cup is full throttle. Don't miss your chance to win $10,000 in the Nextel Cup All-Star Challenge. Log on to speedtv.com for more info and sign up now.
Greg Biffle talking to Juan Pablo Montoya.
See, I think that's what's really interesting about our sport. Where do you usually see the drivers like that? This one, Greg Biffle's on the pole. Juan Pablo's getting ready to go out and qualify. He doesn't have a lot of experience here. And Greg's telling him, hey, this is what you need to look for. This is what you need to think about. Trying to help one of your fellow competitors basically beat you.
In Montoya told us in Formula One, you see them at the press conference, the other drivers, and that's it. You otherwise have no contact with the drivers or members of other teams. Stephen Wallace, the Home Life Communities Dodge, first pole at Bristol. And he started top 25 in all but 2 races this year. Looks like that will continue with his second lap being the top 20 for now, 19th.
Larry, that car looked pretty loose on the first lap. It tightened up maybe a little bit more on the second, but even coming off of 4 for the second lap, the car still looked a little bit free on exit.
I think you pretty much towed the tail right there.
Scott Riggs is in the number 9 this week. Looking to make his second Busch Series start of 07. He started 10th in California and finished in the top 10 here last September. Riggs was 13th in practice.
this team, they're running the entire Busch Series schedule. Scott is sharing this ride with his Nextel Cup teammates, Elliott Sadler and Casey Kane.
We'll call it the Lipton car because it goes by too fast to read all those other names on the quarter panel.
The hood's the easiest thing to read, right? First lap for Scott, 22:05. Scott had a heck of a finish here back in spring of 2003. You may have mentioned this, actually finished second.
I didn't, but you're right. That was his best Busch Series finish. So, Kristen, do you have some advice for Juan Pablo?
Oh, no. I do not give advice to race car drivers. No. But Juan Pablo Montoya is the last one to go out. So what do you do to kind of fill the time? Talk to some of the other drivers and get any advice, maybe?
No, they won't tell you too much. It's more, spending time with guys. And, it's crazy. I'm the last year. I'm 10th out in the Cup car. So I got to get out of this one, kind of run, get in the other car and qualify. So it'll be pretty interesting.
All right, that's Juan Pablo Montoya. And yeah, remember, guys, these are two different cars. They've got the Busch car and the car of tomorrow on the Cup side.
Totally different.
Night and day, maybe?
Scott Riggs ended up 11th with a 21:52. Brings out Scott Wimmer in the AutoZone Chevy. Finished top 10 2 of his last 3 starts. His worst finish was Talladega last week, 34th. And in practice, he was 34th.
This is the car that his teammate Jeff Burton won Atlanta with back in March as a 29 car. Teams are known to sometimes swap cars back and forth between internally their teams.
Well, in many years past, you wouldn't think of bringing an Atlanta car to Richmond. Things have changed.
Exactly.
Quite a bit. First lap, though, 21:71.
16.
Good enough for 16th. Looked better on the second lap.
Good second lap, 21:55, puts Scott's 12th quickest right now. Scott's really enjoying himself. I talked to him the other day and he said, I know I'm not getting to run a lot of Cup races. I'm not actually racing in every Busch Series race, but he said, I'm just enjoying my relationship with this organization, Richard Childress Racing, doing whatever they need me to do.
Yep, just having a good season and running well.
What we just saw there, Bobby Hamilton Jr., the 35 car, what these teams will do and then NASCAR will do, sometimes there's an opening at the base of the windshield that puts air into the carburetor, and they put like a piece over it to keep anything from going down in there. Bobby almost left pit road with that piece still on top of that cowl opening. He realized that a crew member ran out there and took it off.
Good thing.
It'd be like trying to run around this racetrack with a rag stuffed down your throat. You wouldn't really go very far. That carburetor will be starved for air.
Which is likely what would happen to the mechanic who left that in there when all was said and done, right, Jeff?
Exactly.
Hamilton finished 12th last week at Talladega. Started 9th at Nashville, his best start. He was 5th quickest in practice, but he's not going to back that up.
No, 22:05. Yeah, I talked to this group yesterday, and they were just ecstatic with this race car at the test they had here last month. In fact, they took it home, and all they did was change the motor out. They were so happy with it. A little bit of wiggle off turn 4, but he ends up 21:65. That will actually put him 17th.
Dick Berggren's with a young man who knows all about tossing and turning over the last 7 days.
Oh boy, last weekend Kyle Busch starred in the year's most spectacular crash, that at Talladega. 7 times side over side, earth, sky, earth, sky, earth, sky. What was it like inside the car?
Bumpy. At first it was kind of smooth. It was just a nice little rollover, and then it got real rough. But thankfully for all the safety advancements in NASCAR and my team gave me with a good butler seat and everything, kept me safe, and I'm here today. So, I'm looking forward to today. We got a pretty good Stay Green Busch Gardens Lowe's Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's not that good of a qualifier, but I think it'll be better in race trim.
All right, we're glad you're here to race and glad you're safe. And this guy, Mike, is working out a good bit, 2 hours a day. And earlier today, he told me that had a lot to do with the fact that he is in such good shape and no aches or pains anywhere.
And Dick, it looks like he found his razor since Talladega, too. Real proud of the way he's looking there, too.
Jeff Burton has 11 career poles, 21:76 on the first lap. He was in the top 6 in practice, and he's got a shot here. 21:393. Yes,
that'll
he did
do it by 6/1000ths of a second.
He's led 629 Busch Series laps here. Only Mark Martin has led more.
And when Jeff
A little
Burton,
too tight through the middle, but grip was good.
when Jeff Burton qualifies that well, he's going to be tough tonight, I'm sure.
Look out. Marcus Ambrose in the Kingsford Charcoal 59. Got in a late race accident at Talladega and dropped a spot to 9th in the standings. He was 33rd in practice, much like his teammate John Wood.
Yeah, I was going to say John Wood right now 24th out of the 27 cars that has qualified. First lap for Marcus 22:03.
Well, and that's 27th of 8.
He's just really overdriving the race car. He can't get the car to the bottom of the racetrack.
And he got a little piece of the wall down there in turn 2, right off the exit of turn 2, with the front end of the car as well as maybe the back.
He's going to be right back there with John Wood, it looks like.
And hoping he didn't knock the toe out on that car, because as we pointed out, they impound the cars here.
Yeah, he actually slows down because of all that went on that lap.
Loose, loose, loose.
No points, no chase, no championship. $1 million to win. Now that's a race. And it comes in just 15 days. The Nextel Cup All-Star Challenge only on Speed. To cap off a big day of all-star surrounding events on your favorite network.
It's going to be an entire week of exciting events.
True.
All starts with the Pit Crew Challenge on Wednesday night down at Bobcat Arena.
Talking about tension down on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Eric McClure is looking for his first Richmond start in the hefty Chevrolet. Finished 18th at Talladega.
Now, Mike, he and his teammate in the Nextel Cup car of Morgan McClure, Ward Burton in the 4 car, both of those guys this week are wearing a helmet with the paint scheme on it honoring the victims of last month's Virginia Tech tragedy.
He's going to have to go, Larry. He's 4/10 off Kevin LePage, who is the bubble car right now. 22:53. No, LePage is in.
And he lost every bit of it down here in 3 and 4. Mike drove in, got up real high, couldn't get back in the throttle. And when he did, he came off high and lost a lot of ground.
So McClure falls to the bubble. Krista?
From a Virginia native on the track to a Virginia native on the pole for now. Jeff, the RCR cars, this has kind of been the playground in the Busch Series at Richmond. How does this car compare to some of the ones you've had in the past?
I'm really happy with it. I mean, Holiday Inn Chevrolet has been fast. It's been loaded. We'll see what happens at track. I don't think the track's going to change a whole lot tonight. We had a cloudy day all day today, and hopefully we got to just stay better, keep making improvements during the race. But there's several good cars left to go. I don't know if that's going to do it or not, but that was quicker than we ran in practice by well over 10th, and that's all you can ask for.
And that's scary news for the competition.
Sure is. Here is Kyle Krisiloff in the Clabber baking powder Ford, looking for his first Richmond start. Now he's in the show. This car is locked in. Kyle finished 5th last week at Talladega. His best Busch Series finish in 13 starts.
Stayed out of trouble. Stayed right up near the front all day long.
First lap 22:22, 28th quickest. Second lap 21:80. That'll move him up to 22nd. May 18th, Speed celebrates NASCAR Day. Tune in for the NASCAR Telethon on Speed as we help raise awareness for the NASCAR Foundation, benefiting many worthy charities. There's the number to call to find out how you can join the race. Brett Rowe is the 2005 ARCA Truck Series champion from Barbersville, West Virginia. Trying to make his 4th Busch Series start. He does have to time his way in, and he's got to beat Eric McClure's 22:53.
He'll do it. Do it on lap 1 at a 22:36.
All right, crew chief, what are you supposed to be doing?
I would say we're in the show. It's not long till we race. Why don't you just bring her on in here?
Well, you're taking way too long to tell me to slow down.
Yeah, half a lap it went by, right?
Getting ready to say,
that was my thought process.
How about stop? We're in.
So the Imperial Betting Ford will race tonight. Brett Rowe is 29th so far. Dick?
Well, last May, Jason Leffler won the pole here. He brought the same car back, but she's had a facelift. The old girl is now a Toyota. Does she behave the same as last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. You know, the Great Clips Toyota Camry is running good. We always have a good setup here. Car always runs good. We can stay out of trouble here tonight. We'll have a good finish, that's for sure. I don't know if we have a shot for the pole. Our mock qualifying run, we were tight, and we'll just see how it goes. Obviously, the draw is going to help us, and starting up front would be nice. Get up there and lead some laps.
And also get the good pit selection. Mike?
True. Well, Matt Kenseth, he's got to be a little careful here because he is go or go home in the Dish Network Ford.
He was the fastest car in final practice last night, though, and this looks like this is going to be a pretty good first lap, 21.68. So he's got to pick up 3/10 if he wants to knock Jeff Burton off the pole. And he's flirting with it. You can see it right here on our tracker, halfway down the back straightaway.
1 win, 2 seconds in his last 3 races. Can he take the pole from Burton Chevrolet?
Look good. It's going to be close.
Yes, he can by 2/10.
2 100s, right?
Yeah, that.
2 100s.
I'm sorry, 2 100s. A 21.37 to a 39. Our next driver is also a go or go homer, and he is coming off this at Talladega. So far, so good, like he said, just kind of quiet. And then, uh-oh.
I think that's when it got pretty rough he was talking about right there. But I got to echo what he said. That says so much for the construction of these race cars. Now, you see the strategy Kyle Busch using? He's coming to the green flag, trying not to abuse these tires, trying to get some heat in them, knowing the money lap is lap 2.
Yeah, definitely lap 2, but be interesting to see here what he's able to accomplish.
New paint scheme for the Lowe's Chevrolet Busch Gardens on the hood.
And of course, he took another hard lick in Sunday's Nextel Cup race. Not quite as violent, but another hard lick. 21.88, but I think he'll pick up a little more than what we've seen a lot of these guys pick up. And you can see right there, coming off turn 2, he's losing a little bit of ground, but he's right up there flirting in the top 10.
That throttle wide open.
.21.52, so he picks up about 3.5 tenths, but that'll only put him 13th quickest in his 5 car.
Celebrated a birthday this week, turned all of 22.
22 years old.
It was a very good year. You remember that far back?
Way better than that.
I don't know about the singing, though.
Mike Wallace coming on track. Here's Krista.
Down here with Matt Kenseth. And Matt, you have an outstanding Busch record here at Richmond, but no wins. We're tired of it. What about you?
Yeah, I am too, but yeah, we've had great cars here. It's a really fun racetrack to drive at, and they've always given me fast cars. That's what it's about. So I didn't feel like I got everything out of the car that lap, so it might hold up for the pole. I think we got one of the better cars here. I thought us in the 29, you know, but I certainly didn't get a perfect lap, so somebody might beat us yet.
That's Matt Kenseth.
Mike Wallace and the Gecko for Geico are out there looking for their first top 10 finish of the season. They were 13th at Vegas, is their best so far. 30th on lap 1.
But you know, he's been right up there in the points. Took a pretty good hit last week when the engine had problems, but he's still sitting 10th in the driver points right now.
Hey, you let DW come up here and sing, and you're going to complain about my singing?
He won't listen, though.
We don't let him sing, Jeff. He just sings.
Oh, okay.
We certainly don't ask him to sing either.
You know how it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
I think that's been his philosophy his entire life.
I think that it's been etched in his moniker all day long.
Mondays, speed goes back in the day with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Back to where the King and the Silver Fox ruled the speedways. And win on Sunday meant sell on Monday. Go back in the day with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Monday nights at 9:30 Eastern on Speed. Justin Dirks, who made his first Richmond Busch Series start last May and started 29th at Talladega last week.
He is one of the cars that he's actually locked in the show.
He is.
He is locked in the show.
Former NASCAR Midwest Series champ, was part of the Robert Yates development program last year.
Mike, our scoring monitor is changing colors on us. This car is not locked in, and he's going to need to pick it up a little bit if he wants to knock Eric McClure. And he runs a 22.05, so he will be locked into the show now.
You're correct, Larry. He was a go or go homer, and we've had a few glitches with the monitor here today. Apologize for that.
And it's a monitor we're looking at that we're going off of.
Right, so McClure remains on the bubble at a 22.53. Brent Sherman looking for his first Richmond start, and Sherman is locked in the field. He was 38th in practice. Stands 22nd in points in the Big Lots Chevy.
You know, you mentioned back in the day, the Silver Fox, David Pearson. David's son, Ricky Pearson's the crew chief on this car for Brent Sherman.
Don't overdrive your corner now.
That was Ricky telling him right there, don't overdrive your corner. Ease in, hard on.
Ricky used to drive. Drove in the NASCAR Baby Grands against his brother Larry.
And then Larry won the Busch Series championship.
In the Baby Grands, Larry drove the 21 and Ricky drove the Petty Blue number 43.
I did not know that. How about that?
Made a decision he didn't want to be a race car driver real quick. Rather work on him.
But when Larry Pearson won those championships, Ricky was obviously his crew chief during that venture.
And
Chattanooga Chew.
Their younger brother Eddie also involved in racing, mechanic, spotter.
He actually works for the Phoenix Racing. J.J. Yaley and Mike Wallace. Eddie works over there.
Yes, Brent, you're done. You're done. 21.84.
He was going to run till they told him that's it.
And you're in.
Guarantee he was focused on where he was going, not where he'd been.
Hard to see that flag stand when you're concentrating on the line to turn one. You bet. Now, David Gilliland is a go or go home car. In this freecreditreport.com Ford.
I was getting ready to add, Eric McClure has only got 2 more opportunities here, and this is one of them. And the good news is he's got 2 more, but the bad news is David Gilliland and Casey Mears are the 2 guys he's got to have a little help from.
Gilliland was 26th in practice. Mears was 8th. So not looking too good for Eric McClure as Gilliland flashes past with a 21.94. That is quick enough to race tonight.
David running a limited schedule in this car, mainly companion events with the Nextel Cup Series. It's going to be an okay lap. Ends up 21.76. Right now that will put him 24th quickest.
Matt Kenseth, Jeff Burton still quickest coming up. Dave Blaney and Jason Leffler. Dave Blaney brings the Haas Avocados colors. You know, it's Cinco de Mayo.
It is.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. I know avocados and margaritas are involved.
I've read a lot about it. You're right.
It celebrates a great Mexican War victory in the Mexican fight for independence.
Okay.
Kind of like our Independence Day.
Not exactly.
Not exactly?
Not exactly, but you're in the right direction.
Okay.
It was not the day Mexico declared their independence, but
just as important to them as our Independence Day.
Okay. We'll Google it later.
Yeah.
What's important right now, guys, is our little tracker going off into turn 3. Dave was up there on the pole. He's going to be in the top 5, it looks like, with this Toyota. 21.396. That will put him 3rd quickest.
Burton at a 3.94. Blaney at a 3.96. Biffle at a 3.99.
Told you we had a tight field here.
Very tight. Yeah, right now Matt Kenseth on the pole at a 21.37, and you just go back there.
Yeah, it was good. That's right.
Go back there, John Wood 31st at a 21.86, less than 0.5, a half a second.
Jason Leffler in the Great Clips Toyota has started top 10 the last 2 races. Only 2 top 10 finishes this year. So trying to turn things around.
Another Toyota.
Has a pole here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series a few years ago.
2 Toyotas right now in the top 10.
And this will be his 6th straight top 15 start if he can pick up. He's 25th on the first lap. 6th straight top 15 start here. He may not get there.
Pretty good first lap, 21.76, but he looked like the car just wasn't down in the racetrack through the middle of 1 and 2 and off 2.
Could never really hooked up, Larry.
Only picked up a 10.
Yeah, that string of 3 top 10 starts here and 5 top 15 starts is over. 21st for Leffler.
We haven't said a whole lot about it, but the fact that you know, qualifying is important. The biggest thing has to be for pit road, though, Larry, as far as this is a relatively short race, and you want to make sure you get on and off pit road when you need to. Don't get messed up. So if Matt Kenseth can hang on, that's going to definitely put him in the driver's seat later on.
Yeah, it's not that pit road is treacherous. It's very wide. The pit boxes are very big. It's just the selection itself, getting down there near the exit where you can win that battle off pit road. The few stops these guys are making this 250-lap race can be pretty critical.
Shane Huffman in the Navy Chevrolet out of Junior Motorsports made his first Busch Series race here in 2001, September. Has a 6th at Nashville. He's only run here twice. Best start of 14th.
He's working on improving that, Mike. His first lap 21.78. If he can get off turn 4, he's flirting with a top 10, maybe a top 5 for this 88 car. How about 21.393? That's outside of the front row right now, just behind Matt Kenseth. Great qualifying run.
So after Kenseth, Huffman at a 3.93, a 93, then Burton 3.94, Blaney 3.96, Biffle 3.99.
Thousandths of a second.
Yes. Stephen Light in the City Financial number 90 has never run a Busch race at Richmond. Finished 8th at Nashville, a career best. 13th in the points.
Stephen was not that good in practice. 35th quickest in the final practice last night. See what he can do here on lap 1. Pretty good first lap, 21.77. I mean, that's about what Shane Huffman ran on his first lap.
Car looked a little bit loose right in the middle of that turn and loose off of turn 2 also, sliding
like
around.
The whole car was sliding off turn 2. And that really hurt him. That hurts your speed all the way down the backstretch.
He did it again down in 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's going to actually probably be. I'd say so, because he slows down about a 10th and a half.
So 28th on the first lap for Stephen Light will be the lap of record. 3 cars to go, and the next one is the hometown hero. Denny Hamlin carrying a Z-Line Designs on his number 20 this week. 10 of his last 11 races have resulted in top 10 finishes. Last fall here, he started 4th and finished 6th.
But you're right, from nearby Chesterfield. A lot of local short tracks right around this area. He won over 50 races in the Dodge Weekly Racing Series.
Oh, all over the tracker because there are so many cars packed so tightly in the standings. I mean, that's all over.
This is going to be a pretty good first lap as long as he gets off turn 4. Car just stepped out just a little bit there. 21.73. So let's see what he can do here on lap 2.
Circuit City on the car. They are headquartered here in Richmond, and they are the sponsor of tonight's race. Hamlin going for pole.
Really strong off of turn 2, Mike. Down that back straightaway through 3 and 4. Let's see what he can do back to start finish line.
He picked that throttle up pretty quick and was able to stay in it. 21.313. That will go to the top of the charts with only 2 cars left to qualify.
P1. Good job.
And I think the crowd we have here gathering pretty much acknowledge that.
Except for this man. Matt Kenseth just got knocked off the pole.
Like, I knew I should have got back in that throttle a little harder.
Casey Mears in the National Guard Chevrolet. Now he has to time his way in, so he needs a good safe lap, and that will knock out Eric McClure 22.53. So Mears or McClure, one of them will race tonight. The other will head home.
You know, this team running a limited schedule, Jeff actually talked about this last week. I think they had a wake-up call the first race of the year at Daytona, missed the show there, but they've been pretty solid. Finished third last week at Talladega.
Yeah, they've been strong. I mean, they've had some good race cars. And again, we've talked about Casey Mears' luck bank this year has been pretty empty. He's been in the wrong place a lot of different times, and this team has paid the price for it, but they've been solid, and he'll be racing tonight.
He's in with an 84, a solid lap. Virginia National Guard on the car this week.
Now that for sure will send Eric McClure to the house. Eric McClure will be the one car that will not race tonight. 21.68, that puts him at 26 quickest.
So Mears is in, and McClure, who was 43rd of the 44 cars in practice, will be the one that fails to qualify. One car to go. Rookie Juan Pablo Montoya, Indy 500 winner, seven-time Formula One winner, but NASCAR rookie who finished 7th at Talladega, his best finish since winning on the road course at Mexico.
Of course, it was announced last week that he's going to go up to Tony Stewart's racetrack outdoor and run a little dirt. And I asked him last Sunday, I said, have you ever run dirt? And he went, hell no.
Pretty good looking first lap, guys.
69,
That
yes
is
it
a good
is.
first lap.
That lap right there is 27th quickest. And this lap, well, it started out being better.
Yeah, I think he really bailed her off into one, and it stuck decent. There you see the same thing.
Oh, he got his hands full.
He gets in deep, but he pays the price on the exit of the corner. Still going to be a pretty solid lap. 21.45. That will put him 11th quickest.
But Larry, like you noted, if he'd have been just a little smoother on that entry, he definitely had a chance to go up there and sit on the pole.
Yeah, at various times in that lap, he was 5th and about 20th. So your front row, local standout Denny Hamlin and Matt Kenseth makes it a Chevy Ford front row.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Speed presentation of NASCAR Busch qualifying from Richmond International Raceway, brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. Denny Hamlin has posted his 7th Busch pole in 78 starts, and it's his first pole at Richmond in 5 attempts. Krista?
And no better place to do it. The Virginia native, I know this is big with everything that's gone on with Virginia Tech the last few weeks. What would it mean to take your car from the pole to the win at this track tonight?
Oh, it'd be big. Just got to thank the whole Z-Line crew. They did a great job preparing this car. I was late getting out of the car. I barely made it in time to go out there and qualify, but it's a testament how great this race team is. I look forward to the Saturdays now every time I get in this car. So thank Dave Rogers and the entire guys at the back of the shop working so hard, and hopefully we'll bring home a win for Virginia Tech this weekend.
And you were late going out, but we were also joking, new house this week, is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to move in this week and officially move in, that is. But really excited about that, and getting my parents down there and be a little closer to me. That'd be good.
New home, but his old home, of course, is this Busch car. Dick Berggren?
It was Shane Huffman who qualified 3rd. That equals his career best, the 1999 NASCAR Nationals Short Track Champion. You like racing here?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I always enjoy coming to Richmond, but this one goes to Wes and those guys. We had the Navy Chevrolet running really good on the long runs, but we made several qualifying efforts there, and we never could get it going good on that 2 laps. So I don't know what they done, but I'm glad they done it.
Why do the drivers like this place so much?
It's just racy. You can get after it here and have some fun, run 2 wide. Got a couple grooves there, so looking forward to tonight. I think we're going to have a little bit of fun.
All right, we wish you well tonight. Congratulations on that run. Mike?
Thanks, Dick. Denny Hamlin will share the front row with Matt Kenseth. Chevy and Ford, there's Huffman with Jeff Burton. On row 2, the big surprise. They're in 7th spot. Bobby Santos III, first ever Busch Series attempt. Top 10 start.
Good qualifying run there. You see Kevin Harvick in his own car back in row 7 going for 4 consecutive Busch Series wins here at Richmond tonight.
Montoya and Bliss the first Dodges in the field with Sorensen.
And Sam Hornish back there on row 14. Got a little experience in open wheel, but not a lot here in a stock car.
And back through the rest of the top 40 cars. A mix of rookies and veterans. And that rounds out the field with only Eric McClure headed home. The Circuit City 250 presented by Funai is tonight's race. Crowds already starting to gather and starting to surround Denny Hamlin, who receives the honors of winning his 7th career Busch pole. Hamlin does extend the string. He is the 10th different pole winner in 11 races. Only Kyle Busch has 2. Got a win from the pole at Darlington last May. Top of the show, we mentioned the King meeting the Queen. Did I ever get around to explaining that? I don't think so.
No, you did not clarify that.
Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of England, was in town to meet the king of stock car racing, Richard Petty. It's not the only reason she was in town, but it was on the list of festivities and dignitaries. I think she was here for an anniversary at Jamestown, Virginia, the original English colonization of America. That's enough history for one show.
Yeah, but it's always neat when the king meets the queen.
Coming up, Nextel Cup Series qualifying from right here in Richmond. And then tomorrow, you'll see NASCAR race day at a special time, 5 p.m. Eastern. And then the Nextel Cup race in high definition on Fox tomorrow night. NASCAR Live is next to bring you up to date on all the news from Richmond. And then it's qualifying for the Nextel Cup cars. So we'll see you on the other side of NASCAR Live. Congratulations to Denny Hamlin, the Busch pole winner for the Circuit City 250.